Chapter 71. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master, what was that just now? Lin Qingyan reached out and stroked the jade pendant on her chest, asking quietly in her heart. It looks like thunder magic, but it has been modified beyond recognition by the caster, but it has also doubled the power of the spell. The mysterious master explained softly. Yenner, thunder magic is also notoriously difficult among many spells. Your fiancé, at the age of 20-something, can thoroughly understand a thunder magic and improve it. It seems that his talent is far more outrageous than I imagined. It's a pity. If he were a woman, I would have wanted to take him in as a disciple. Hearing this, Lin Qingyan was slightly startled. Although her master has a very easygoing personality, his vision has always been very high. It seems that it is a very high evaluation for the master to say that he will take in a disciple. On the other hand, it seems that she has never received similar evaluations except for being honest and obedient. Lin Qingyan pursed her lips slightly, feeling a little disappointed. How could this little emotion in her heart escape the perception of her master? Silly child, stop thinking about it. Your unique talent is far beyond the reach of ordinary people, but you have not yet fully stimulated it. Really? Lin Qingyan's eyes moved slightly. Of course it's true. The fact that you can awaken the residual soul of my master is the best proof. That the mysterious master's tone was very firm. Don't worry, Yenner, as long as you keep a calm mind and listen to my arrangement honestly, I promise that in less than 3 years, your cultivation will catch up with or even surpass your fiancé. Listening to the beautiful blueprint outlined by the mysterious master, Lin Qingyan looked at the sky in silence, recalling the domineering look of Gu Cheng wearing magic armor and beheading the demon king like killing a chicken. A trace of longing flashed in her clear and beautiful eyes. If she had such a strong strength before, would she have been able to kill her way to Black Wind Mountain and avenge her father with her own hands? Reading to this point, Lin Qingyan suddenly remembered something again. After hesitating for a moment, she whispered in her heart. Master, I want to ask you for something. As we all know, robbing heads is a technical job, and Gu Cheng is exactly the leader in this aspect. He relied on the ghostly speed of Luyun Qingfeng Ju to ruthlessly harvest those fish that slipped through the net like autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves. Those captains of the Demon Suppression Division and martial artists could only see a black shadow flashing before their eyes. The next second, the demons who were fighting with them had their heads cut off in unison, and they were deader. Then dead, the hot demon blood splashed wantonly, bringing a little warmth to this slightly cool autumn night. Such a weird and terrifying scene actually scared his own people enough, and they thought that the city was haunted. After killing all the remaining demons in the city, Gu Cheng did not stop and rushed back to the village where he stayed in the suburbs. At this time, the sky was already pale. Master Gu, who had been busy all night, quietly slipped into the room and quickly changed his demon catcher suit. He lay on the bed with a tired face, took a long breath, and began to count his gains that night. The 2 demon kings on the Black Wind Mountain have all been killed, and the Zheng family in Chang'an County has completely become history. Zheng Tianlu, the running dog of the rebirth religion, died without leaving any residue. Things have come to this point. Gu Cheng has basically cleared the newbie village of Chang'an County. At the same time, after a night of killing, Gu Cheng's current foundation has once again reached a new height. Remaining lifespan, 3,031 years. More than 3,000 years of lifespan. A full 60 Tang Yuan. Gu Cheng stared at his personal panel, stunned. Such a terrifying prophet should have made people cheer and jump for joy, but when I think of those colleagues in the Demon Suppression Department who died on duty in the demon disaster tonight, and those innocent people whose families were destroyed by the demons, Gu Cheng's original excitement has inexplicably become a little dull. A large group of demons entered the city and wreaked havoc, which really made it convenient for him, a hacker, to cut leaks. But to be honest, it would be better not to have this kind of good thing of cutting leaks in the future. In addition to this huge amount of lifespan, Gu Cheng also obtained 2 high-level demon cores of the Breaking Ordinary Realm and the soul remnant of the Wolf Demon King. It is a pity that Zheng Tianlu, the powerful Xiantian realm warrior who was killed for the first time, did not explode with a soul remnant. However, Gu Cheng did not dwell on this. After all, the evil method of the rebirth religion was too evil, and it looked even uglier. Even if he could obtain the innate realm skills from the residual soul, Gu Cheng would not care at all. Let's see what valuable information can be dug out from the residual soul of the Wolf Demon King. Gu Cheng lay on the bed and closed his eyes. He poured 40 years of his life into the residual image of the Wolf Demon King's soul in one breath. In a trance, a wolf demon covered with red hair slowly emerged in Gu Cheng's mind, muscles as hard as steel, claws as sharp as knives. The red hair was like a blazing flame, exuding a terrifying demonic aura. First year, you spent 40 years of your life and successfully awakened the residual image of the soul of the red-blooded wolf demon. The red-blooded wolf demon is cruel and violent by nature, and is extremely aggressive. In the face of your question, it not only refused to cooperate, but also cursed at you. Gu Cheng. Second year, you were furious and began to exchange passionate insults with the red-blood wolf demon, relying on the ability to fight back that you had previously trained in major online forums. You scolded this red-haired wild dog so much that his heart was broken and he became autistic on the spot. Gu Cheng, old man looking at his phone on the subway.jpg. 10th year, after the red-blood wolf demon calmed down, you began to play the piano for the wolf, relying on your master-level musical attainments and the characteristics of the heavenly sound nurturing mind technique. Your piano sound was like being injected with magic, and it could even subtly change the will of the remnant soul. After years of piano music, the red-blood wolf demon was completely washed away by you and turned into a loyal and kind old dog. In the face of your questions, it knew everything and said everything. Is there such a thing? Sure enough, learning one more skill is useful after all. Gu Cheng was slightly startled, and then his face showed joy. Before, he always felt that the auxiliary function of heavenly sound cultivation technique was a bit useless. Now it seems that he simply has not found a suitable place to use it. 21st year, the red blood wolf demon shared with you its experience of controlling the blood wolf demon. After hearing it, you have a little understanding. The power of blood shadow sword art has reached a higher level, and even faintly touched a new realm. 37th year, after years of brainwashing with piano music, the red blood wolf demon completely let go of his guard and told you in detail the details of its cooperation with the demon of the rebirth sect, as well as all the information it knew. You know the specific location of a secret inheritance realm of the rebirth sect. So far, this remnant soul has no secrets for you. Remaining lifespan, 2,954 years. Chapter 72. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After summarizing and sorting out the information in his mind, Gu Cheng sat up from the bed and slowly opened his eyes. With a serious expression on his handsome face, he originally thought that Jing Tianlu was the culprit of all this, and that everything would be fine if he killed the old man, but he never thought that he was only touching the tip of the iceberg of this conspiracy. The real mastermind behind the scenes was actually someone else, according to the information provided by the residual soul of the Wolf Demon King. Between Mr. Zheng and the demons, there is also a grey-robed holy envoy of the rebirth religion who is responsible for bridging the gap. The two major demon tribes in Black Wind Mountain and the Fox Demon by family provided help. It was because Jing Tianlu had promised them that as long as he could pass the corpse transformation ceremony and successfully transform into the innate corpse king, the grey-robed holy envoy could open the inheritance secret realm of the rebirth religion and lead these demons who broke through the mortal realm to go to that secret realm to search for treasures together. As for what is in the so-called inheritance secret realm, the Wolf Demon King himself is not very clear. It just heard the two fox demons say it. There are countless treasures hidden in the inheritance secret realm of the rebirth sect. Any treasure can easily make them promoted to the innate realm demon. Such a huge temptation. How can the two demon kings of the Black Wind Mountain not be tempted? Not only did they temporarily put aside the grievances between the two tribes, but they also put the lives of the whole tribe into it. Unfortunately, with the enthusiastic help of a passing magic master, their gamble ended in failure. Well, I feel like I'm in trouble again. Gu Cheng touched his chin. His expression was a little strange, and he muttered to himself, in its heyday, the rebirth sect could even turn the 12 counties of Yunzhou upside down. Its power is naturally not to be underestimated. After hundreds of years of destruction, this group of cultists suddenly revived, and they wanted to make a big news right away. They must have big plans. The bewitched Jing Tianlu was just a chess piece of the other party. Now that Gu Cheng has killed this chess piece, he has naturally made a feud with the rebirth sect. it is even very likely that he has been recorded in the little notebook by the grey-robed saint. However, while Gu Cheng was alert, he was not particularly worried. After all, when he was killing people last night, he was wearing a vest of a monster catcher. Even if the monsters of the Rebirth sect wanted to settle accounts later, they would not find him. What's more, the general from the Tianshui city headquarters will soon lead the elites of the headquarters to thoroughly investigate the matter. Gu Cheng himself is about to leave this place and go to Tianshui city. With the big guys of the Demon Suppression Division headquarters as his backers, he can naturally rest assured and develop for a while. With the upgrade speed of Gu Cheng, who is a hacker who gets stronger by spending his life, it is estimated that it will not be long before he will take the initiative to find trouble with the Rebirth sect. Alas, this fucking world of demons and warriors is really not a peaceful moment. Gu Cheng sighed helplessly. In order to survive in this fantasy world where the weak are the prey of the strong, he must seize every opportunity and work hard to become stronger. After calming down, Gu Cheng took out the demon core of the Wolf Demon King from the storage bag and played with it carefully in his hand. The Wolf Demon Core, which is the size of a ping-pong ball, is like a dark red fruit, exuding a faint demonic aura. Since the second volume of Blood Sword Sutra has reached its peak, Gu Cheng does not need the demon core to increase his blood and chi for the time being. However, this essence condensed from the lifelong cultivation of demons is itself a tonic, and there are many benefits to taking it. Based on the principle of seizing every opportunity to become stronger, Gu Cheng naturally couldn't waste it, so he swallowed it into his stomach. The number behind the remaining lifespan on the panel immediately began to decrease rapidly. Year 1, you began to refine the demon core of the red blood wolf demon. With the experience shared by the wolf demon's residual soul, your refining process this time was particularly smooth. Year 37, you completely refined and analyzed the demon core of the red blood wolf demon. Your physical strength has been further tempered, and at the same time, you have a very deep understanding of fist and palm skills. Unfortunately, the only fist and palm skill you have mastered, Bull Fist, is too superficial and there is no room for further strengthening. You have a deeper understanding of the blood wolf demon, and the power of the greedy wolf blood blade has reached a higher level. You are thoughtful and feel that this ultimate magic sword technique has the possibility of further optimization. Year 278, after years of research and experimentation, you finally completed the last piece of the puzzle. Your blood shadow sword technique has been completely transformed. When the sword is swung, the blood shadow rises. Just like the blood prison cultivator, Luo descended to the mortal world. The terrifying blood wolf phantom howled at the moon, vowing to tear all enemies into pieces. Chi and blood, precious, blood shadow sword art, extreme intention, Gan Lang blood blade. Remaining lifespan, 2,676 years. Promoted to a rare martial art. Gu Cheng looked at the prompt on the panel and couldn't help showing joy. Since its creation, the power of this blood shadow sword art has far exceeded ordinary martial arts of the same realm, and it is only slightly inferior to rare martial arts. Now, with the dual assistance of the Wolf Demon King's residual soul and the demon core, it is natural that this magic sword technique has been successfully promoted to a rare martial art. It seems that as long as I eat the demon core as candy, I can get endless lifespan. It seems that all the martial arts I have learned can be upgraded and strengthened like this. Gu Cheng's eyes lit up and he was eager to try, but he thought again, if he really did this, he would be equipped with evil demon martial arts in the future. Once he started, black clouds rolled, demons rose, and demon flames surged. Wouldn't that make people mistakenly think that he was a peerless demon in human form? After all, I am also working in the Demon Suppression Department, so I should try my best to learn some serious martial arts. Gu Cheng calmed down. He continued to do the same, swallowing the demon core of the Pig Demon King into his stomach and infusing it with lifespan. Although this demon core did not have the assistance of the soul afterimage, but with Gu Cheng's powerful cultivation of both physical and spiritual cultivation breaking through the 9th level of the mortal realm, he was able to digest it all easily. 98th year, you completely refined and analyzed the demon core of the earth armor Pig Demon. Your physical strength has been further tempered, and at the same time, you have gained some understanding of the art of controlling earth and rock armor. Under the infusion of that scattered energy, your magic armor has been slightly strengthened, and the armor's defense has been slightly improved. you vaguely feel that if you can refine a few more similar demon cores, your dark blood demon armor may be able to evolve to a whole new realm. Remaining lifespan, 2,578 years. A few more similar demon cores. That means killing a few more thick-skinned demons. How many more pieces of meat armor do you want for this meat armor? Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart, and silently wrote this demand in his little notebook. Then he closed his eyes and concentrated, and looked at his personal attribute panel again. Host, Gu Cheng. Cultivation. Chi refining. Chi and blood 9th level, body refining. Breaking the ordinary 9th level, spirit refining. Breaking the ordinary 9th level. Remaining lifespan, 2,578 years. Martial arts learned, rough bull. Fist, ultimate intention, bull demon power, breaking the ordinary, rare, blood shadow knife skill, ultimate intention, greedy wolf blood blade, breaking the ordinary, flowing cloud riding the wind skill, ultimate intention, fox shadow mystery, breaking the ordinary, rare, crimson palace heavenly thunder induction, ultimate intention, blood unicorn rage. Chi and blood, rare, blue dragon 100 refining, perfect. Breaking the ordinary, blood knife sutra, ultimate intention, immortal demon. Body. Breaking the ordinary, heavenly sound cultivation technique, perfect. Just looking at Gu Cheng's current gorgeous personal panel, he has almost reached the limit of what he can achieve at present, not to mention being invincible at the same level. Even an ordinary master of the Xiantian realm is not his opponent at all. Now, Gu Cheng's only problem at the moment. He has a lifespan of more than 2,500 years, but he can't find a place to spend his life. He has too much money and has no place to spend it. This is really a happy trouble. After joining the Demon Suppression Division, in addition to the second volume of Blue Dragon Refining, I have to get a few more awesome martial arts books. As a hexagonal warrior, it is natural to develop in an all-round way. Gu Cheng secretly planned in his heart, and at the same time, he was looking forward to his next trip to Tianshui City. Chapter 73. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the sun was high in the sky, Gu Cheng and Xiao Yun said goodbye to the local villagers and set off on their way back to Changle County. Before they entered the city, they were discovered by a team of captains patrolling outside the city, who hurriedly invited them back to the government office. Gu Cheng walked into the study of the Qianhu office. At this time, Zhao Qianhu was sitting in front of the tea table, drinking soup medicine in small sips. Looking at his listless look, it was obvious that he had suffered serious internal injuries in the battle last night. Xiao Qing. You are finally back. Seeing the visitor, Zhao Qianhu forced himself to show a smile that was uglier than crying, and hurriedly invited Gu Cheng to sit down. You are lucky, you just missed a fierce battle. You just came back from outside the city, maybe you don't know yet. Something big happened in the county last night. As he said that, Zhao Qianhu opened the chatterbox. He told Gu Cheng the whole story in detail. When he talked about a master of magic who came from the sky, the mood of the captain suddenly became excited. Obviously he admired the strong man who turned the tide last night. He exaggerated the description and directly boasted that the other party was a fierce and monstrous devil who controlled thunder and lightning. To be honest, Captain Zhao's eloquence was really good, and the story was vivid and fascinating, but his behavior of bragging in front of the protagonist of the story was really a bit uncomfortable. Gu Cheng sat aside and pretended to listen. On the surface, he was calm, but behind his back, he was digging his toes into the ground, so embarrassed that he almost broke the soles of his shoes. Ahem. This time, the incident of the rebirth sect has caused too much trouble. If it weren't for that mysterious magic master who used thunder magic to kill the innate corpse king, the consequences would be disastrous. Zhao Qianhu couldn't help coughing twice, and accidentally involved the broken ribs, and immediately gasped in pain. I have reported this matter to Tianshui City with the official seal. The people above attach great importance to the incident last night. At the latest tomorrow morning, the generals of this department will arrive in Changle County. The auditor may be a day or two late, but not too late. Xiao Cheng, you can rest at home for the next 2 days and prepare for the next assessment. Well, I know. Gu Cheng was naturally happy to be free. After chatting with Zhao Qianhu for a few words, he got up and left. Gu family courtyard, wing room. Sun Yanxue curled up on the bed like a wounded kitten, humming weakly, her pretty face as pale as paper. Obviously, the injuries she had last night had made her body more serious. If I had known that the mysterious master would take action, would not have been so stubborn last night. And that bastard who attacked me back then. When I succeed in becoming a congenital master, I will use the thunder to kill you into pieces. Just as Miss Su was secretly swearing, a familiar voice suddenly came from outside the gate of the courtyard. Is he back? Feeling the familiar and reassuring breath of the person who came, Sun Yanxue couldn't help showing a happy expression on her face. She turned over with some effort and looked towards the door, then she saw a tall and slender figure slowly walking into the room. You are. Gu Cheng looked at Sun Yanxue's miserable appearance, with a look of surprise. Oh, don't mention it. Wasn't there a demon in the city last night? I forced my way out, and my old injury recurred. Sun Yanxue got up from the bed and grinned at the young man. It's a pity that you were not here last night and didn't see me show my power with your own eyes. Otherwise, I can teach you by example, let you see the power of my Su family's thunder method, so that you can quickly get started with thunder method. Show your power. Gu Cheng looked at this proud young lady, and a strange look flashed in his eyes. If he remembered correctly, Sun Yanxue seemed to be suppressed by the wolf demon king last night, right? But no matter what, Sun Yanxue's injury last night still made Gu Cheng's view of her change greatly. Don't think this foodie is quite unreliable on weekdays, but at the critical moment, she really dares to take action. So what are your plans next? Gu Cheng walked to the table and poured a glass of water for Sun Yanxue. I remember you said before that the reason you came to this remote county of Chang'e County was to complete the mission of the master and investigate the matter of the rebirth sect. Now the rebirth sect has completely attracted the attention of the Demon Suppression Division. Your injury will not heal for a while. Do you want to continue the investigation? Of course we have to continue, we must eradicate all evil. Sun Yanxue took the teacup and drank it all, wiped her mouth, and said with a serious face. I will not give up until I kill the bastard who attacked me. But before that, there is a more important thing, I need to go home first. At this point, in Sun Yanxue's mind, a blood-red unicorn composed of thunder suddenly appeared, and her face was stern, but she soon relaxed. By the way, young Master Gu, aren't you going to participate in the headquarters assessment soon? Sun Yanxue smiled. After you leave for Tianshui City, I should leave soon. In the remaining few days, I can continue to eat with you for a few days. Hearing this, Gu Cheng nodded silently, raised his eyes and looked at the girl with a complicated expression. What? Are you reluctant to let me go? Sun Yanxue looked at the young man who seemed to be hesitant to speak, and couldn't help but look nervous. She put a few strands of hair behind her ears and said with a charming smile. If you can't bear to leave, then don't go to Tianshui City, and go back to Yunzhou City with me. No, that's not what I mean. Gu Cheng shook his head seriously, frowning slightly. I want to say, don't you still owe me a martial art that breaks through the ordinary realm? When are you going to give it to me? Sun Yanxue was stunned, the blood surged up, affecting the injuries in her body, and she almost vomited blood. This guy who doesn't understand romance. He has been with such a beautiful woman like her for so many days, how come when they are about to part, this guy is thinking about martial arts secrets? What martial arts secrets can be more important than her, the third lady of the Su family? Just when Sun Yanxue was deeply doubting her charm as a woman, dong dong dong, outside the gate of the Gu family courtyard, there was a rhythmic knock on the door. Who is here again? Gu Cheng was puzzled, and hurried out of the wing room and opened the gate of the courtyard. Then he saw a tall figure in silver-white official uniform standing at the door. The beautiful and cold face was not made up, but it was still beautiful enough to make people's heart beat. Can I come in? Lin Qinyan asked softly. Of course, please. Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with surprise, and he immediately invited this cold and beautiful lady in his impression, except for the last time when Lin Qinyan came here to pay her respects after Gu's father died in the line of duty. This was the second time she took the initiative to visit. On the other side, in the wing room, hearing the soft female voice outside, Sun Yanxue's delicate body trembled, And she jumped up from the bed as if struck by lightning. In her beautiful amber eyes, there was a flash of doubt. Good you, Gu. It's only been a few days since we last met, and you've secretly found a lover outside? For some reason, Miss Su felt a surge of strength in her body, and even the hidden injuries that made things worse were temporarily suppressed. She thought for a moment, and a cunning flashed in her eyes, then she messed up her hair, half undressed, pretended to be lazy and charming, and walked out of the wing room gracefully. Ah Cheng, which sister is here again? Sun Yanxue leaned against the door and asked in a delicate voice, with a mischievous smile on her lips, but in the next second, she met Lin Qingyan's cold and clear eyes, and the smile on her face instantly froze on her face. The two peerless beauties looked at each other in silence. This pair, who had fought side by side last night and cooperated tacitly, met again under such circumstances. Gu Cheng stood between the two women, looking around, with a slightly strange look on his face. At the same time, he had an inexplicable sense of déjà vu of Shura Field in his heart. Chapter 74. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is it her? Sun Yanxue recognized Lin Qingyan's identity at a glance, and her heart was immediately stirred. Miss Su was very grateful to the female centurion who helped her last night. She had originally thought of finding an opportunity to make friends with the other party and expand her network before leaving, but she never thought that the two sides would meet in such an awkward occasion. Hello. Lin Qingyan nodded slightly politely, looking up and down at Sun Yanxue's figure and appearance that were no less than her own. She couldn't help but frown slightly and turned to look at Gu Cheng. In her eyes, which were always cold and clear, there was a rare trace of strange emotions. She is a friend of mine from Yunzhou City. She stayed here to recuperate and ate for a few days. Gu Cheng instantly understood the meaning of Lin Qingyan's eyes, explained softly, and glared at Sun Yanxue with a kind face. He now discovered that Miss Su's personality was just like a fool. A while ago, she had the task of copying secret books to distract her attention, so she was naturally very honest and obedient. Now that she was not given the strength, she started to make trouble again. Gu Cheng unceremoniously drove this unreliable young lady back to her room. Then, he led Lin Qingyan to the living room in the central hall and brewed a pot of hot tea. The two sat opposite each other in silence. Although they had worked together for many days on Black Wind Mountain before, they were on official business at that time. It was the first time for them to meet privately like now. For a moment, the atmosphere in the room was a little subtle. Lord Lin, what exactly are you doing here this time? Gu Cheng was the first to break the silence and poured a cup of hot tea for the other party. Just call me Qingyan. Lin Qingyan stared at the steam rising from the teacup, her tone as calm as water. I came to you this time to thank you in person for your help last night and for avenging my father's murder. Hearing this, Gu Cheng's hand trembled slightly as he poured tea. Looking up at Lin Qingyan, a hint of surprise flashed in his dark eyes. Gu Cheng thought his disguise was quite good, relying on the breath-hiding ability of the secret fox Shadow Mirage, and the 9th-level soul-refining cultivation. Even a high-level soul-refining cultivator like Sun Yanxue who broke the mortal realm could not detect any flaws at all. But he never thought that he was exposed by Lin Qingyan on the spot, however. After a brief surprise, he quickly regained his composure. It's just a small favor, no need to thank me. Gu Cheng calmly pushed the teacup to the other side and asked. Also, I'm curious, how did you figure it out? Lin Qingyan pursed her lips, lowered her eyes, and didn't answer. Seeing this, Gu Cheng understood, nodded, and stopped asking. Both of them have big secrets. Some things are too much to ask, but it will ruin their tacit understanding. Gu Cheng, I heard that you are going to Tianshui City soon to participate in the assessment of the headquarters. Lin Qingyan took out a flawless white jade pendant from her arms, put it on the wooden table, and gently pushed it over. I specially prepared a small gift for you, just as a parting gift. Well, thank you. Gu Cheng smiled and thanked, reaching out to pick up the jade pendant. Looking at it carefully, he found that there were 4 small characters engraved on it. These 4 words were like a swimming dragon, and the font was complicated and cumbersome. He carefully identified them for a long time, but still couldn't recognize the meaning of these 4 words. A faint fluctuation of divine thoughts came from the jade pendant. if Gu Cheng's divine thoughts had not been tempered many times and were much stronger than those of the same level divine cultivators, he would probably not be able to detect this extremely subtle abnormality. Is it a magic weapon? Gu Cheng was very curious. He immediately held his breath and concentrated his mind, injecting his divine thoughts into it. The next moment, he sensed a huge amount of text information from the jade pendant. Its content was so vast that it was even several times more than the Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder induction that Sun Yanxue had copied for nearly a month. At the same time, a new prompt popped up on the system panel in Gu Cheng's mind. Innate treasure, for spirit's true meaning, not yet entered. A precious technique of the innate realm. Is this what she called a little gift? Gu Cheng couldn't help but hold his breath. The jade pendant, which was originally slightly cool, felt a little hot in his hand. My master said that this is an extremely powerful Xiantian realm spiritual cultivation method. In terms of power and effectiveness, it is even far beyond the ordinary Linghai realm methods. Lin Qinyan noticed the strangeness in Gu Cheng's expression and smiled softly. Sure Dao. But correspondingly, the conditions for practicing this technique are also extremely harsh. In addition to the 9th level of innate spiritual cultivation, even the physical cultivation must reach the innate realm or above. But for a peerless genius like you, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Gu Cheng stroked the white jade pendant in his hand, silent. This innate realm technique is really weird. There are only a few warriors with the qualifications for spiritual cultivation, and there are even fewer spiritual cultivators who can cultivate all the way to the innate realm. As a result, the requirements for practicing this innate realm technique are to be a master who cultivates both the body and the spirit. Such a harsh prerequisite. The true meaning of the 4 spirits is simply a top-level technique tailored for those peerless geniuses who are hard to come by in 1,000 years. This technique may be a bit beyond the scope for a genius, but it is just right for a hacker like me. Just when Gu Cheng was so excited that he wanted to throw all his life into it on the spot, Lin Qinyan drank the hot tea in the cup and slowly stood up. Okay, I have something else to do, so I won't disturb you from studying the secret book. Gu Cheng, I hope your strength will reach a new peak when we meet next time. As she said that, the cold and beautiful lady nodded to the young man and left the place directly. Looking at the graceful back disappearing from the sight, Gu Cheng slowly retracted his gaze, with doubts in his heart. Such a powerful Xiantian realm technique, 9 out of 10, is from the hands of Lin Qinyan's mysterious master. Then the question is, where did that girl find such a mysterious master with a profound background? If we follow the routine in the online article, she didn't take Xiaohua's script and picked up an old lady in a ring, right? Gu Cheng chuckled and shook his head, amused by his own weird imagination. If that's the case, shouldn't his nominal fiancé quickly break off the engagement with Lin Qinyan to help her? At the same time, a certain old lady was secretly talking to her good disciple. Yenner, why did you suddenly ask me for that martial arts method? It turns out that you want to please your little lover. A drop of water should be repaid with a spring. Lin Qinyan strolled on the street, with golden flames burning in her eyes. He saved me once and helped me avenge my father's murder. I must thank him. Thank you. Your way of thanking is too insincere, right? The mysterious master snorted, his tone full of disdain. If it were me, I would have pledged my love to you long ago. Anyway, you two were engaged as children, so it's legitimate. And with that boy's talent, appearance, and character, he is naturally a good match for you. If you two get married, the offspring you give birth to will definitely be outstanding. Lin Qinyan remained silent, and a blush appeared on her fair cheeks. Her master is good at everything, and he doesn't have the airs of a strong man at all, but his personality is sometimes a little too cheerful. Don't think that your master is talking nonsense. A young talent like him is bound to be surrounded by beautiful women. The little slut who is staying in his house to recuperate is the best proof. If you don't seize the time to take her down now, you will regret it in the future. Master, didn't you say before that I should catch up with him within 3 years? What arrangements do you have for me next? Lin Qinyan couldn't hold it anymore and quickly changed the subject. Arrangement. The mysterious master pondered for a moment and asserted. With the current situation in Yunzhou, there will probably be no peace in the next few years. You'd better leave here as soon as possible and go to Yuzhou. Yuzhou? Lin Qinyan was slightly startled. Yuzhou is located in the center of the 9 states of Deyan, and it is also the location of the imperial capital of Deyan. Master, why do you have to go to Yuzhou? Lin Qinyan was very puzzled. Isn't it too far to run at once? Yener, I told you before that in this world, inheritance is far more important than qualifications. The mysterious master warned earnestly. And the inheritance that the master chose for you happens to be in the imperial capital of the Deyan dynasty Yujing City. Chapter 75. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies, in the blink of an eye. 5 days have passed, the midday sun penetrated the clouds and sprinkled on the body, bringing some warmth to this gradually cool autumn day. At the urging of a greedy pet at home, Chef Gu, dressed in casual clothes, walked out of the house and decided to go out to buy some ingredients. The rustling autumn wind rolled up a few dead leaves, and the originally bustling streets became a little deserted at this time. The pedestrians on the road looked hurried. With a nervous look, as the saying goes, heavy punishments should be used in troubled times. Since the Lieutenant General led the elites of the headquarters to Chang'an County, he has cut the Gordian knot and launched a big purge. Those local tyrants who had colluded with the Jing family, and the martial artists who had gone to Chang'an County to avoid the limelight because of their dirty background, were all in bad luck. For 3 consecutive days, the captains of the headquarters were arresting people every day. If they encountered resistance, they were killed on the spot, and their heads were chopped off and hung neatly on the tower. By now, there are at least 70 or 80 heads. If it weren't for the fact that the Lieutenant General led the team to the Black Wind Mountain to sweep from the 4th day, the number of heads would probably have increased. Such an iron-blooded and cruel style of action was effective immediately. Chang'an County, which was originally in a somewhat turbulent situation, became quiet in an instant. Not to mention those martial artists who didn't listen to discipline and fought bravely for no reason. Even those who spit on the street disappeared without a trace. I've heard that the Demon Suppression Division headquarters has always been tough and domineering. Now I see that it is indeed well deserved. Gu Cheng strolled on the empty street, and the idea of being promoted to the headquarters became stronger and stronger. However, the problem is, it has been 5 days, why hasn't that damn auditor come to him yet? Gu Cheng sighed with an unhappy look on his face. He now has a lot of remaining lifespan, and he also has a top-notch magic skill like the true meaning of the 4 spirits, but because this skill is too advanced, it lacks martial arts for transition. As a result, he can't practice it at all now, and can only stare at the magic skill and the lifespan of more than 2,000 years. Just as Gu Cheng was secretly thinking about whether he should go to Zhao Qianhu to ask about the situation today. Master Gu. Master Gu. Point 2 unfamiliar captains of the Demon Suppression Division hurriedly chased up from behind, panting. Master Gu, I finally found you. What happened? So anxious. Gu Cheng looked at the 2 people's nervous faces, and he had a vague answer in his heart. Master Gu, a group of envoys from our headquarters suddenly came to the Yamen, and asked you to report to the Martial Arts Hall by name. A captain replied hurriedly. Another lieutenant nodded, looked around, and then lowered his voice and said. Those guys in our headquarters are very arrogant, and you can tell at a glance that they are not easy to talk to. You must be more careful and don't act on impulse. Well, I know, thank you for reminding me. Gu Cheng nodded slightly, with a strange look in his eyes. Zhao Qianhu had said before that this temporary review was just a formality. Now it seems that this is not the case. The Demon Suppression Department office, the Martial Arts Hall, the empty indoor venue is as big as a basketball court. There are several weapon racks around the venue, with various swords, spears, and halberds neatly stacked on them. And on the viewing platform facing the gate of the Martial Arts Hall, a man wearing a golden crown and a black uniform is sitting on a wooden chair, crossing his legs, and sipping tea leisurely. Behind the black-shirt man, 5 tall and strong lieutenants of the headquarters lined up in a row, standing upright like javelins. Looking at their fierce appearance, they are obviously tough guys who have been on the battlefield for a long time. I didn't expect that this poor and remote place produces quite good tea. After returning from this mission, I can bring a few pounds to my godfather. Sun Baichuan smacked his lips with satisfaction. put down the teacup, and turned to ask a subordinate beside him. Eru, how is the information of that kid checked? Son 2, I have found out everything. Eru stepped forward and took out a document from his arms. That kid named Gu is from a hereditary centurion family, and his family background is clean and there is no problem at all, it's just that the speed at which his strength is promoted is a little unbelievable. Oh. Why? Sun Baichuan was playing with the teacup in his hand, and couldn't help but be interested. Look, son, according to the task records in their branch office, this kid has been in a few a month ago, he was just a small flag officer at the 3rd level of body tempering. Apart from being good at light work, he was useless. Eru handed the document in his hand to his superior and continued to add. But when he was promoted to the general flag, he suddenly changed and killed 2 tiger monsters in the Chi and Blood realm. Less than a month later, he killed a fox monster in the Broken Ordinary realm. He was directly promoted to a centurion. Because of this, Zhao Qianhu valued the talent of this kid, so he used his internal relationship to arrange him directly into the final assessment of the headquarters. Humph. What a shit talent. But he is just another person who relies on money to open the way, only a fool would believe this kind of forged mission record. Sun Baichuan snorted coldly and threw the document in his hand away like garbage. Now Zhao Qianhu has been dismissed and investigated by General Su for dereliction of duty, can the person recommended by him be a decent person? Ahem, son 2, this isn't a good talent, Barrett chuckled and whispered, if he doesn't rely on connections, but is really capable, how can we brothers get benefits from him? Hearing this, several lieutenants behind him also chuckled, there are such people who use backdoors every year, and it has long been a tacit understanding within the Demon Suppression Division, the families of these people are generally quite wealthy, and they only want to gild themselves in the Demon Suppression Division headquarters, as long as they can successfully infiltrate the headquarters. Even if it is just a nominal and idle position, they are willing to pay a high price for it. Therefore, in the eyes of some people with ulterior motives, this year, the temporary review process added by the Tianshui city headquarters is undoubtedly a great opportunity to make extra money. Shoo, what nonsense are you talking about? You just need to know about this kind of thing, there is no need to say it in public. Sun Baichuan scolded with a smile, picked up the teapot, and was about to pour himself a cup of hot tea. Squeak, the door of the martial arts hall opened in response, a tall and handsome figure walked in and stood in the center of the venue, the sunlight shone through the door and shone on the young man, as if he was covered with a layer of golden gauze and dragged a long shadow on the ground. The 5 subordinates looked at the appearance of the visitor, and a gratified smile suddenly appeared on their faces, just like a wolf picking up a fat sheep. This delicate and tender little white face really fits their stereotype of those relatives. You are Gu Cheng, right? Huh, you are really a handsome man. Sun Baichuan smiled slightly and nodded to the young man, but a trace of contempt flashed in his eyes. That's right. Gu Cheng clasped his fists and bowed, waiting for the next words. I think you have guessed the purpose of our visit this time. Sun Baichuan poured himself a cup of hot tea, looking casual. Brother Gu, you want to come to Tianshui City to pursue your career, and we brothers naturally don't want to embarrass you, but we came all the way here just to help you pave the way for your bright future. If you don't express anything at all, isn't it a bit inappropriate? I don't know what you mean. Gu Cheng narrowed his eyes and asked knowingly. Why, do you want me to make it clearer? Sun Baichuan's eyes flashed with displeasure, thinking how could the relatives he met this time be so ignorant. He blew the hot air on the teacup, stretched out 5 fingers to Gu Cheng, and said. One price, 50,000 taels. If you pay the silver today, you can go back to Tianshui City with us tomorrow. Chapter 76. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you treating me like a fat sheep? Gu Cheng raised his eyebrows, his expression slightly strange. He only knew that the Demon Suppression Division branch in Changle County was a mixed bag. Now it seems that the Demon Suppression Division headquarters in Tianshui City is not much better. Brother Gu, this price is already very fair. Sun Baichuan saw that Gu Cheng had not responded for a long time, and thought that the other party thought it was too expensive, so he frowned slightly. Of course, I am a kind person. If you can't come up with so much money at once, I have a way to give you a discount. Tai Nyo. Here, as the black-shirt young man gave an order, a lieutenant from the headquarters behind him responded. This man was tall and strong like an ox, a slightly loose black uniform could not hide his exaggerated muscle lines at all, exuding a wild aura like a beast in the mountains. Come on, show your skills to this little brother. Got it. After saying that, Li Tinyu grinned and strode towards a weapon rack in the martial arts hall. He stretched out his big hand like a palm leaf fan and picked up a big iron spear. With a slight force of his hands, he easily kneaded the big iron spear into a ball of scrap metal like twisting a twist. Such a brutal physical strength. This captain of the headquarters named Li Tinyu is obviously a body-refining monk who specializes in the method of body refining. Brother Gu, if you really don't want to pay so much money, then come and have a fight with this subordinate of mine. Sun Baichuan took a sip of hot tea and said with a smile. As long as you can hold on for 1 round, I will charge you 10,000 taels less. If you can successfully hold on for 5 rounds, then I won't charge you a penny and will just count you as having passed. How about that? At this time, Li Tinyu also walked to the center of the venue and threw the scrap iron in his hand at Gu Cheng, his face full of provocation. Gu Cheng withdrew his gaze from the big iron spear that was twisted into a twist at his feet. He turned to look at Sun Baichuan and asked calmly. It sounds good, but what if your subordinate can't hold on for 5 rounds? Hearing this, Sun Baichuan was slightly startled, and then immediately laughed wildly, as if he had heard some big joke. The other 4 subordinates also looked strange. The look he gave Gu Cheng was like looking at a madman who didn't know how high the sky was and how deep the earth was. The strength of this Li Tinyu was clear to his colleagues. His muscles were like steel, and his arms were strong enough to tear apart demons. Before, he tore a snake demon in the early stage of the breaking ordinary realm into 2 pieces with just his bare hands. You are a person who got in through the back door, and even the task records are made up. Why do you think you can win? After holding his stomach and laughing wildly for a while, Sun Baichuan gradually restrained the smile on his face. He looked up at Gu Cheng and said in a grim tone. Don't talk about 5 rounds. As long as you can win, I will give you 50,000 taels of silver, and swallow this teapot by the way. Are you satisfied? Okay. Gu Cheng nodded slightly. Someone came to give him money, so he had no reason to refuse. Then he stood with his hands behind his back and waved at Tinyu, signaling him to attack. Fuck. Is this kid tired of living? Li Tinyu's forehead was bulging with veins, and he was obviously angry at Gu Cheng's arrogant attitude. After receiving the eye signal from Sun Tu, a ferocious look suddenly appeared on his face. He stepped hard, and the blue stone slab under his feet exploded instantly. The majestic body was like a beast hunting prey, rushing straight up with a terrifying momentum. In order to avoid making the matter worse and alarming General Su, Li Tinyu did not dare to kill him, but if he didn't let the other party see blood, I'm afraid this kid will never learn his lesson in his life. In that case, let's cripple one of your hands first. Li Tinyu's eyes flashed with cold light, and his big hand like a palm leaf fan grabbed Gu Cheng's shoulder, but in the next second, his palm actually went straight through the opponent's body. Then Gu Cheng's figure twisted and disappeared like a mirage. Is this an illusion? Li Tinyu's eyes widened, and a strong sense of uneasiness suddenly rose in his heart, and his body subconsciously dodged, but unfortunately, everything was too late. Bang! A powerful and heavy fist hit the abdomen of the rough man, even though Gu Cheng had tried his best to control the strength. But the brutal power brought by the extreme artistic conception Blood Sword Sutra was still not something that a 4th-level body-refining cultivator could resist. Tinyu felt as if he was hit by some siege weapon. Immediately, his eyes he burst, spurted blood from his mouth, and flew backwards at a speed faster than he rushed up. Boom! The 2-meter-away strong body slammed heavily on the wall like a cannonball, making a dull sound. The hard wall was instantly covered with spider-web-like cracks, and the entire martial arts hall trembled. Li Tinyu was severely injured and lost consciousness on the spot. His body was tightly embedded in the wall, and he couldn't be buckled down, if it weren't for the thick skin and flesh of the body-refining cultivator, and Gu Cheng's deliberate restraint. I'm afraid this rough man would have been crushed on the spot. The martial arts hall suddenly fell into a dead silence. The 4 lieutenants looked at the colleague who was hung on the wall, and then looked at the relative who stood with his hands behind his back, and swallowed silently. Wait, something's wrong, didn't we agree that this pretty boy is a backdoor scoundrel? But look at his mysterious and strange body movements, and the exaggerated brute force that knocked Letinia down with this punch. This kid surnamed Gu doesn't look like a relative at all. Could it be that he didn't actually use the backdoor at all, but was appreciated by Xiao Qianhu with his own heart power? I won. Gu Cheng moved his wrist, looked up at the shocked young man in black clothes, and said lightly, I'm willing to accept the loss. Shouldn't you give me the silver and swallow the teapot by the way? Of course, I'm a kind person. If you can't swallow it in one gulp, I allow you to chew it. Crack, Sun Baichuan exerted force with his hand, and the teacup in his hand was instantly shattered. His face was as black as the bottom of a pot, and it was so gloomy that it seemed to drip water. Damn it. How could a martial arts genius really emerge from a poor and remote place like Changle County? Where did this young boy get all this cultivation from? Thinking of this, Sun Baichuan suddenly had a flash of inspiration, and a sinister arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. He immediately slammed the table and asked Gu Cheng loudly. Gu Cheng. The strongest in the arsenal of your Changle County branch is only the Qi and Blood realm. Where did you get this body-refining cultivation that broke through the ordinary realm? What? Is the martial arts I practice also within your review scope? Gu Cheng frowned slightly, and a hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. Humph. Gu Zuiyan, I think you are guilty. Sun Baichuan sneered and continued to use the topic to say. I seriously suspect that you are a spy of the demon sect who secretly practices evil magic skills. You want to be promoted to the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division, and you definitely have ulterior motives. Swish. As soon as Sun Baichuan finished speaking, the four subordinates behind him drew their swords and pointed them at Gu Cheng, looking serious as if they were facing a great enemy, although they knew clearly that Sun was playing dirty tricks. But everyone was on the same boat, so naturally they could only follow the same path until the end. Gu Cheng raised his eyebrows and looked at the captains of the headquarters who drew their swords and faced each other, with a rather strange look. Damn, he is really good at judging people. The blood sword sutra he practiced before was really an out-and-out evil magic skill. Although the other party was deliberately throwing dirty water, it was also a blessing in disguise. So, you don't plan to eat the teapot, right? Gu Cheng's eyes suddenly became dangerous. In that case, let me feed you myself. The air was suddenly filled with a strong smell of gunpowder, just when the two sides were on the verge of a life-and-death battle. If you are willing to accept the loss, how can you go back on your word? An old voice came from the gate of the martial arts hall. Everyone looked at the voice, but they saw an old man in a black shirt wearing a black cloud cloak, accompanied by two guards, walking in leisurely, Jingxian clothing, gold and jade belt, demon-suppressing knife, black cloud cloak. This gorgeous and majestic outfit is the standard configuration of the General of the Demon Suppression Division. Chapter 77. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Snap, snap, the sound of official boots stepping on the bluestone slabs was clearly heard by everyone. As the old man slowly approached, the air in the venue suddenly became sticky, like a dark cloud pressing down on the land, making everyone breathless. Sun Baichuan and others were frightened and pale, and they all put away their weapons, knelt on one knee, and saluted respectfully. Greetings, Lord Su. No need to be polite. Su Weining walked closer and waved his hand. A pair of sharp eyes like a hawk looked quietly at the black-shirt young man in the lead. Sun Baichuan, do you think what I said just now makes sense? Click. There was only a crisp sound. Sun Baichuan picked up the teapot on the table, opened his mouth and bit off the spout of the teapot, chewed it alive, and swallowed it whole. His face was terribly gloomy, but he lowered his head deeply, not daring to show any disrespect to the old man. Well, you have good teeth and a good appetite, no wonder you dare to ask for 50,000 taels of silver. Su Weining nodded with a smile. Okay, for the sake of your adoptive father, I will not pursue your abuse of power for personal gain. After returning to Qianshui City, remember to make up the silver with interest. As for the remaining teapot, take it back and eat it slowly, just treat it as your lunch today. Thank you, Lord Su, for the reward. Sun Baichuan was immediately pardoned, put away the teapot with a missing spout, bowed and retreated, and left in disgrace. After the other 4 subordinates took Li Tinyu off the wall, they also followed closely and fled from here in a hurry. With the departure of these people, the atmosphere in the martial arts hall became a little quieter. Humph. A useless thing. Instead of thinking about how to kill demons and monsters, you just think about this kind of crooked way of making money all day long. General Su snorted coldly, turned to look at Gu Cheng, and his expression suddenly became kind. You are Gu Cheng, right? Well, you are handsome and have some of the style of my youth. Hello, Lord Su. Gu Cheng saluted with his fists, and at the same time, he looked at the other person secretly with his peripheral vision. This Lord General was about 60 years old, his hair had already turned gray, and his body was not very strong. If it weren't for the domineering and gorgeous general suit, he would be an old farmer digging for food in the fields. However, in Gu Cheng's divine perception, the breath exuded by this old general was as heavy as a mountain, filled with a suffocating sense of oppression. Compared with this old man, the innate corpse king that Jing Tianlu had transformed into before was not even worthy of carrying shoes. There is no doubt that the old man in front of him is the strongest person Gu Cheng has ever seen. Gu Cheng silently estimated in his heart. He felt that with his current strength, even if he played all his cards, he would never be the opponent of this Lord Su. At most, he could escape unscathed with the help of the 1,000 miles divine travel talisman. It is worthy of being the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division. It is indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Gu Cheng lowered his eyes and said in his heart, which had been slightly inflated due to playing too many low-end games, also became restrained. At the same time, his desire for strength and becoming stronger became stronger. I didn't expect that although Zhao Yuanjie was passive and lazy, he made a mess of Changle County, but he has a good eye for talent, and he actually found a good seedling like you. Su Weiniang narrowed his eyes, looked at Gu Cheng quietly, and suddenly asked. Boy, if I didn't show up in time, do you really plan to fight with those people? Don't forget, according to the rules of the Demon Suppression Division, it is a taboo to offend the superiors. Sir Su, if I lose, that's offending the superiors. Gu Cheng said calmly, neither humble nor arrogant. But if I win, it's just a friendly exchange, how can it be an offense? Friendly exchange. Hearing this, Su Weiniang was slightly startled, and then immediately understood, and couldn't help laughing. You're right. In the Demon Suppression Division, the biggest rule is to have the biggest fist. Boy, your youthful and frivolous look is more and more like the style of my youth, but as a person who has been through it, I still have to remind you, young people should not be too aggressive. Su Weiniang slowly restrained his smile and said to Gu Cheng seriously. Do you know that Sun Baichuan's adoptive father is a powerful innate master, and he is extremely protective of his shortcomings? If you really dare to touch him, even if you can do it perfectly, his adoptive father will never let it go. Of course, you don't have to worry about it now. Thank you, Mr. Su. Gu Cheng bowed and saluted, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart that this old man Su was really loyal. His people haven't arrived in Tianshui City yet, but he has already got such a thigh in advance. It's just a little effort, no need to be polite. Su Weiniang looked at Gu Cheng with admiration and said lightly, with your strength, it will be easy to pass the final assessment of this department. When you go back, pack your luggage and go back to Tianshui City with me in 3 days. I will follow your arrangement. Gu Cheng was delighted, and now he could finally leave the novice village. After paying a salute to the old man, he left the place. What an interesting young man. Su Weiniang looked at the back of the young man leaving, chuckled and shook his head. With such a dark horse entering, the ranking competition of this year's final assessment may add a few more variables. Sir, this kid's cultivation is so strange. At this time, the 2 guards behind the old man who had been silent all the time suddenly spoke. There is no fluctuation of true qi in his body, and it is obvious that he has not condensed the sea of qi, but his body cultivation is surprisingly strong, and he can even defeat a body cultivator who has broken the ordinary realm with one move. Such an abnormal thing, could it be? He is a body cultivation genius born with supernatural power. Another guard thought for a moment, and also bowed to General Su, and said respectfully, "Sir, Sun Baichuan should be punished for abusing his power for personal gain, but his previous doubts are not unreasonable. Gu Cheng is in a small frontier town like Changle County, and his cultivation can increase so rapidly. He must have some unknown secrets. Sir, do you want me to investigate secretly?" "Oh, what? Don't you allow people to have some little secrets?" Su Weiniang frowned slightly, turned around and glanced at the guard, and asked with a smile. "In this demon-ridden world, how many grassroots geniuses who can stand out in small places have not encountered adventures and have no secrets on them? Don't forget that the new garrison commander of our Tianshui County also came from Changle County. His growth rate back then was even more exaggerated than Gu Cheng's. Why don't you investigate the secrets of the garrison commander?" "I dare not." The guard knew he had said too much and immediately lowered his head in fear. "You must remember that the main responsibility of our Demon Suppression Division is to slay demons and eliminate evil." Su Weiniang stood with his hands behind his back, and his sharp eyes like a falcon swept over the two guards quietly. "What our Demon Suppression Division wants is a sharp blade that can kill demons and evil cultivators. As long as this knife is sharp enough, easy to use, and will not scratch yourself when used. Then why do you bother to delve into how this knife was forged? If you really have the time, instead of paying attention to the little secrets of Gu Cheng, that it's better to get a field mission after returning and secretly investigate the information of the Master of Magic." Chapter 78. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master of the Magic Way. A guard's eyes moved slightly, and he asked hurriedly, "Are you referring to the mysterious strong man who used the blood-colored thunder method to blast the Xiantian Corpse King into pieces with one blow?" "That's right." Su Weiniang nodded seriously. As early as the first day he arrived in Changle County, he personally inspected the battle scene, judging only by the huge pit in the Jing family compound that was blasted by lightning and the residual destructive aura around it. The power of that blood-colored thunder is absolutely extraordinary. As a veteran Xiantian Peak strong man, Su Weiniang has many trump cards and can still deal with it calmly, but the other generals in the Demon Suppression Division don't have his foundation. If they are hit head-on, I'm afraid few people can escape unscathed. Such a mysterious magic strong man naturally attracted the attention of this old man. Evil cultivators of the demonic sect generally have erratic and violent personalities and mood swings because of their practice of evil skills. They cannot be judged by common sense at all. This time he killed the evil cultivator of the Rebirth sect with one blow. It seems that he is assisting the Demon Suppression Division, but when we meet next time, I don't know whether he is an enemy or a friend." Su Weiniang looked cautious and continued to add, "After returning to Tianshui City this time, I will report this matter to the garrison commander and ask him to issue the Demon Suppression Order. With the help of those demon catchers, I believe we can quickly find out the information about the mysterious demon master, right?" Hearing this, the two guards looked at each other and nodded in agreement. Now, Tianshui County is in a turbulent time, and all unstable external factors cannot be ignored. After this episode, Su Weiniang's stomach was a little hungry. Just as he greeted the two guards and planned to go to the cafeteria to eat something, he suddenly felt something in his heart. "This is..." Su Weiniang's expression suddenly became stern, his inner chi was surging, and the black cloud cloak behind him moved without wind. "My lord," the two guards were confused and were about to ask. Su Weiniang disappeared instantly and flew to the outside of the martial arts hall. The old body stood quietly in the courtyard, looking at the sky, his clothes fluttering, and his eyes were full of brilliance. At this time, the midday sun was gentle and warm, the clear sky was blue and cloudless, and there seemed to be no abnormality. But in the keen perception of Su Weiniang, the top master, an extremely powerful warrior's aura, like a meteor, crossed the sky and flew rapidly towards Changle County. After being promoted to the innate master, the warrior can fly by running the innate true chi. However, doing so consumes a lot of true chi and is generally only suitable for short-distance travel. However, the strong man flying in the sky at this time undoubtedly flew all the way from a faraway place. His cultivation strength has far surpassed the scope of the innate master and reached a higher realm. Spirit Sea Venerable. Strange. What kind of rare treasures are there in Changle County that can attract such a strong man to come? Su Weiniang was puzzled, and out of duty, he decided to step forward to confirm the identity of the visitor. He circulated the true energy in his body, and his old body suddenly soared into the sky, and the black cloud cloak behind him rustled in the wind. In a flash, Su Weiniang rose to a height of 100 meters. Just as he was about to fly towards the powerful man in the spirit sea realm, a powerful divine thought instantly locked him. The next second, in the clear sky, there was a rolling thunder, like the roar of an ancient beast. Although this greeting behavior is not very friendly, it is also very intuitive and shows one's identity. Thunder method. The heir of the Su family. So that's it, then everything makes sense. Su Weiniang stopped in mid-air, feeling the destructive breath in the distance, and a flash of understanding flashed in his eyes. Thunder method is the foundation of the Su family in Yunzhou, and it is rarely passed on outside the family. However, a few days ago, the mysterious magic master was suspected of using the modified thunder method. After the Su family knew about this, they naturally sent someone to check it out. Mr. Su's analysis can be said to be very reasonable. Unfortunately, the reality is not the case. Gu family courtyard, wing room. I'm so hungry, it's already so late. Why hasn't Gu Cheng come back yet? Su Nianxue lay softly on the bed like a lazy kitten. Seeing that her owner hadn't come back yet, her cute little face was full of impatience. Later, she was so hungry that she got up and went to the kitchen to find something to eat first. Stomach. Fortunately, she actually found a tray of crystal shrimp dumplings left over from breakfast. Su Nianxue's eyes lit up with excitement. She heated it up a little with a steamer, then returned to her room with a plate of delicious food. Just as the girl picked up the chopsticks and prepared to eat, rumble. A dull thunder sounded faintly in the sky. Although the thunder was so light that it was almost inaudible, it was like a bolt from the blue in Miss Su's ears, and she almost threw the chopsticks away. Thunder method. Is this someone from the family coming? Su Nianxue stood up suddenly, looked at the sky outside the window, and muttered to herself. After a moment, an extremely familiar divine thought locked her firmly. Swish. A white light flashed, and a girl in white appeared in the room in an instant. The girl looked about 15 or 16 years old, with bright eyes and white teeth, black hair like a waterfall, and a temperament as ethereal as a fairy. A pair of beautiful amber eyes are like stars, exuding a faint sense of oppression. Judging from their appearance alone, this girl in white is at least 80% similar to Su Nianxue. Standing together, the two of them are simply a pair of beautiful sisters, very pleasing to the eye. Seeing the visitor, Su Nianxue blinked her eyes with a look of surprise. Aunt? Why are you here? The girl in white frowned slightly and flicked her white fingers. Pa. A red mark suddenly appeared on Su Nianxue's forehead, and she couldn't help but let out a lovely cry of pain. How many times have I told you not to call me aunt, call me sister Ruoxue? Su Ruoxue crossed her arms and her face was as cold as frost. Why? Su Nianxue rubbed her forehead, her face full of indignation. You are almost 100 years older than me. Why do you still like to act young? What's wrong with 100 years? The lifespan of a warrior in the spiritual sea realm is at least 500 years, converted to the age of ordinary people. I am only in my early 20s this year, just a little older than you. Su Ruoxue said righteously, while extending her right hand and making a pinching motion with her index finger and thumb. Then she looked her niece up and down, and immediately sensed the injuries in her body, and her expression changed. Are you injured? Who did it? Su Ruoxue asked coldly, with a pair of beautiful amber eyes, and there was a faint flash of lightning. The aura on her body suddenly became dangerous, and the air in the whole room was trembling uncomfortably. He's just an evil cultivator of the rebirth sect. Su Nianxue felt warm at the sight, and waved to the girl in white. When I get promoted to Xiantian, I will seek revenge on him myself, so you don't need to do anything. Humph, who told you to leave your family's thunder method alone and go outside to learn the method of controlling weapons? If you hadn't been distracted by your birth magic weapon, with the resources of your family, you should have been promoted to Xiantian Grandmaster long ago. Su Ruoxue snorted coldly, and the lightning in her eyes slowly dissipated. Then she sniffed lightly, and her eyes moved down to the plate of crystal shrimp dumplings on the table. Su Ruoshue's eyes lit up, and her index finger moved because of the fragrance. Immediately, she urged her divine thoughts and picked up a shrimp dumpling. After taking a bite, the incomparable deliciousness instantly burst out on the tip of her tongue. A happy smile appeared on the face of the Linghai Venerable. Well, your food these days is really good. No wonder your face is rounder than before. Su Ruoshue nodded with a lingering feeling, and her mouth was not idle either. In no time, she ate up the whole plate of shrimp dumplings. Sun Yanshua looked at the empty plate, her face suddenly darkened, and she said faintly. Auntie. Sister Ruoshue. You came here this time, didn't you come to steal my niece's shrimp dumplings? Didn't you always chase the fox demon of the Bai family before? Why did you suddenly come to find me? Oh, don't mention it. When it comes to business, the girl in white sighed, and her expression suddenly became serious. That bunch of stinky foxes found a strong backer from outside. With that great demon backing them up, the strong men from the major families in Yunzhou can't touch them for a while. Not only that, the fox from the Bai family is taking crazy revenge. Your father is afraid that you will be in danger when you go out, so he asked me to take you back to Yunzhou City to avoid the limelight. Is that so? Sun Yanshua frowned slightly when she heard this. The situation in Yunzhou is really getting more and more chaotic. Then, she suddenly thought of something and her face changed. Wait, the fox demon Bai family has recovered now, and is taking crazy revenge. In a few months ago, Gu Cheng had just killed 3 fox demons from the Bai family, so, isn't her owner also on the revenge list of the fox demons from the Bai family? Chapter 79. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changle County, downtown. The thunder just now was. Gu Cheng put down the vegetables in his hand, looked up at the sky, and thought about something in his heart. Then he hurriedly left the vegetable market and returned home. At this time, Sun Yanshua's room was already empty, the bedding on the bed was folded neatly, and the room was spotless. On the table were a letter, a bronze mirror, and a jade box. Obviously, it was something that the pet left for the owner before leaving. Gu Cheng picked up the letter left by Miss Su, read it quickly. And his expression suddenly became complicated. According to the letter, Sun Yanshua had been taken away by her aunt. As for the second part of the martial arts that she owed, she could only wait until Gu Cheng went to Yunzhou City in person to ask her for it. At the same time, Sun Yanshua repeatedly begged Gu Cheng to keep her treasured treasures. In addition, Sun Yanshua also said that there was a small problem with the fox demon Bai family, and it was very likely that a fox demon would come to seek revenge. For this reason, she told Gu Cheng to be more careful and left a defensive magic weapon for emergency use. As for the jade box, it was a reward given to Gu Cheng by her aunt for praising his delicious shrimp dumplings. It seems that the thundering sound just now was made by her aunt. The fox demon Bai family came to seek revenge. Strange, weren't those fox demons besieged by the major families in Yunzhou? How could they turn the tide like this? Gu Cheng put away the letter, his face gloomy. It seems that the situation in not only Tianshui County, but the entire Yunzhou has become increasingly severe. Alas, this fucked up world really doesn't let people live in peace for a moment. Gu Cheng sighed, picked up the bronze mirror magic weapon on the table, and looked at it carefully. This bronze mirror is about the size of a palm. At first glance, it looks very ordinary, just like the bronze mirror used by girls in the boudoir to put on makeup, but if you look closely, you can find that various mysterious patterns are engraved on the frame, which perfectly interprets what low-key luxury means. Gu Cheng poured his divine thoughts into the bronze mirror in his hand and urged it with all his strength. Swish. The mirror surface of the bronze mirror flashed with fluorescence, and an illusory white light curtain instantly formed in front of him. Like a shield of light, it protected his entire body behind him. Gu Cheng stretched out his hand and the bloody aura surged and condensed into a bloody long sword. Then he grasped the handle of the sword and swung it hard at the white light shield. Clang! The sharp blade, wrapped in the monstrous bloody aura, slashed fiercely on the light curtain, making a harsh sound. Ripples suddenly appeared on the white light shield, and even the brightness dimmed a little, but it still did not dissipate. Gu Cheng used the same trick again, and slashed twice. After 3 consecutive fierce slashes, he finally exceeded the defense limit of the bronze mirror magic weapon. The white light shield instantly disintegrated into countless pieces like glass and disappeared out of thin air. What an amazing defense! Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with surprise. After his blood shadow sword art was promoted to a rare martial art, its power was no less than that of ordinary innate swordsmanship, and it was even more powerful when paired with his own blood soldier. With such a terrifying attack power, this bronze mirror magic weapon can actually withstand 3 swords. It should not be a problem for it to defend against the full-strength attack of an innate strongman, if it is paired with the immortal demon body. Fox Shadow Mystery, and the 1,000 Miles Divine Travel Talisman, the survival coefficient will be directly maxed out. Even facing a top master like General Su, Gu Cheng had the confidence to run away calmly. Such a precious defensive magic weapon, I think it is also one of Sun Yenshue's trump cards. Gu Cheng stroked the bronze mirror in his hand, and a soft and charming figure appeared in his mind, and the corners of his mouth slightly curled up. Although Miss Su is careless on weekdays, she treats her friends very well. Even a thick-skinned person like Gu Cheng felt a little embarrassed. Alas, it's not a good thing to always take advantage of her like this. When I go to Yunzhou City to find her in the future, I must find a chance to repay this favor. Gu Cheng muttered to himself, put the bronze mirror magic weapon in his arms, and turned to look at the last jade box. The material of this jade box is very special, and it seems to have the ability to isolate the perception of divine thoughts, making the things inside even more mysterious. What's in it? Gu Cheng looked curious and opened the lid of the jade box. Just as a small crack appeared, an extremely strong demonic aura instantly spread out, and the whole room trembled violently. Gu Cheng's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly took off the lid. He found a blue demon core the size of an egg inside, with a bright and shining gem light on it. The demonic aura seemed to be real, lingering on this demon core, presenting a series of rippling light and shadows. Faintly, Gu Cheng also saw the shadow of a monkey from the light and shadow on the demon core. The ape looked quite ferocious, without a single hair on its body, and had duck-like webbed feet, as if it lived in the water. What is this? Is it the demon core of a water monkey? Look at this strong demonic aura. It is obviously from a great demon in the innate realm. Gu Cheng couldn't help smacking his lips. This Miss Su's aunt is really generous. He had learned from Sun Yenshue's casual chat that in the big cities outside, the demon cores of demons can be used as general equivalents. One of the demon cores in the innate realm, even the most ordinary and lowest level, can be exchanged for at least 100,000 taels of silver. Like the water monkey demon core in the jade box, the quality is very good, and it looks like it has just died. If it is auctioned in the market of those big cities, it is not a problem to triple or quadruple it. Because the shrimp dumplings are delicious, you just rewarded hundreds of thousands of taels of silver. What kind of extremely rich woman is this? Gu Cheng scratched his hair, and a strange thought suddenly came to his mind. It seems that living with a rich woman is not a bad choice. The lid of the jade box was closed and put into the storage bag. Gu Cheng sat on the chair and took a deep breath, then he looked around and looked at the empty and quiet room. For a while, he was a little uncomfortable. Gu Cheng can now understand the mood of some shit shovelers after their pets died. Although those pets are very naughty, they still have to feed them food every day and take care of their daily lives, which takes a lot of thought. But when one day, the pet suddenly disappeared, the owner's mood was really mixed. After sitting quietly for a while, Gu Cheng slowly got up and walked out of the wing room, intending to go to the kitchen to make something to eat. Dong dong dong. Outside the gate of the Gu family's courtyard, there was a sudden knock on the door. Is there someone coming again? Gu Cheng was puzzled. He opened the door and found that the visitors were the brother and sister of the Shao family. He was even more surprised. Master Gu. Xiao Yun bowed and saluted, his expression a little restrained. Well, come in and talk first. Gu Cheng nodded and invited the brother and sister to the living room in the middle hall. He also used the tea leaves he had used to entertain Lin Qingyan last time to make another pot of hot tea. The rich tea fragrance filled the air, which made the slightly nervous mood of the brother and sister relax a little. Tell me, what do you want to talk to me about? Gu Cheng asked while pouring tea. The Shao siblings looked at each other, and then the younger sister spoke first. Brother Gu, I heard that you are about to leave Chang'e County and go to Tianxue City. we came here to give you this thing as a parting gift." After saying that, Xiao Qing'er took off a pendant with a yin-yang fish jade pendant from her neck. She put the jade pendant in her palm, a hint of reluctance flashed in her eyes, and handed it to Gu Cheng solemnly. Gu Cheng looked at this scene full of déjà vu, and couldn't help but look weird. "No way. Are you two going to give me a set of Xiantian realm exercises too?" Gu Cheng hesitated for a moment, reached out to take the yin-yang fish jade pendant, and injected his mind into it. The next moment, he actually sensed a huge amount of text information from this jade pendant. Its content was as vast as the four spirits' true meaning given to him by Lin Qinyan. At the same time, a new prompt popped up on the panel in Gu Cheng's mind. Innate yin-yang absolute immortal hand. Not yet started. Chapter 80. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Innate realm martial arts. Gu Cheng's eyes lit up immediately. Although this martial art has not reached the level of a treasure, it is obviously extraordinary looking at the exaggerated amount of content. I suspected before that the background of the Xiao family brother and sister must be extraordinary, and now it has been confirmed. Gu Cheng stroked the yin-yang fish jade pendant in his hand, and his heart suddenly felt a little unbalanced. Lin Qinyan, Su Nianxue, and the Xiao family brother and sister, how come these people who have a good relationship with him have such a strong foundation? Good things come one after another, just like the wool on a sheep, which makes people envious. On the other hand, he is the young Master Gu. In addition to being handsome and having a system at the beginning, there is really nothing else. But then again, this gift is a bit too expensive, isn't it? Gu Cheng calmed down, and his eyes swept over the brother and sister one by one. With a trace of suspicion in his eyes, Lin Qinyan gave him the four spirits' true meaning before, which could be said to be to repay his two favors. Although Gu Cheng had helped the Xiao brothers and sisters before, Xiao Qing'er had already repaid this favor by refining the boiling blood powder. Now they took the initiative to give such a precious innate martial arts. Obviously they had other requests. Thinking to this point, Gu Cheng calmly put the yin-yang fish jade pendant back on the table, raised his eyes and looked at the Xiao brothers and sisters. His eyes were deep. "Let's be frank, you gave me such a valuable gift. Do you want to entrust me to do something?" Indeed, Gu Cheng could pretend to be confused and directly get this innate realm technique for free, and the Xiao brothers and sisters would not be able to say no. However, with Gu Cheng's moral standards, he really couldn't do such an unscrupulous thing for a friend he recognized. "This. Brother Gu." Xiao Qing'er's sickly face was slightly startled. Obviously she didn't expect the other party to be so direct. She opened her mouth and wanted to explain something, but her brother beside her took over the conversation. "Master Gu, at this point, we have nothing to hide from you." Xiao Yun gave his sister a look, signaling her to stay calm, then he bowed to Gu Cheng and said seriously. "We two brothers and sisters come from a long-declined alchemy family in Chongshan County." As the big man told the story, Gu Cheng also had a general understanding of the background story of the Xiao brothers and sisters. Chongshan County borders Jianshui County, and the land area is almost the same. The Xiao family has been rooted here, relying on alchemy and medical skills to create a great foundation, which has been passed down for nearly 1,000 years. The Xiao family was once glorious. At its peak, it even produced several masters of the spiritual sea realm, and made a great reputation throughout Yunzhou. Unfortunately, a few hundred years ago, the evil cultivators of the rebirth religion ravaged Yunzhou. The Xiao family's several spiritual sea venerables all died in that catastrophe. After being slashed in the aorta, the Xiao family was directly injured and never recovered. By the generation of the father of the Xiao family brothers and sisters, it had completely become a third-rate small force, not to mention the strong men of the spiritual sea realm, even the master of the Xiantian realm. There is only one master, their father, the head of the family, however, relying on the ancestral medical skills and medicine refining methods, as well as the style of doing things that are kind and generous. The Xiao family has a very good reputation in the local area, and the family is quite wealthy, so they live a relatively comfortable life. However, if nothing unexpected happens, an accident will happen soon. A year ago, their father saved a seriously injured passerby, but unfortunately attracted the killer who was chasing the latter. The killer was powerful and extremely cruel and bloodthirsty. The Xiao family was affected by the disaster just because they saved his mission target, and were wiped out overnight. An old servant desperately protected the brother and sister and escaped from Chongshan County all the way to Tianshui County, and died of serious injuries on the way. The brother and sister have been dependent on each other since then, wandering in Tianshui County for several months. Finally, they came to Changel County, and this is the story of the future. So that's it. Gu Cheng was quite sad after listening to the tragic experience of the brother and sister. Just because he saved a person, the whole family was ruined. In this fucked up world, the cost of being a good person is too high, right? So you want to invest in me in advance, hoping that I can help you get revenge after I become stronger? Yes. Xiao Yun nodded heavily, his expression was quite gloomy. Master Gu, if it were just the two of us, I'm afraid we would have no hope of revenge in this lifetime, so we can only place our hopes on others. Well, a wise choice. Gu Cheng took a sip of hot tea. This kind of transaction where both parties get what they need is reasonable. So, who is the murderer? What is his strength? He is a master of magic in the innate realm, his weapon is the soul-catching chain, and his strength is extremely terrifying. Xiao Qinger's eyes were slightly red, and she was full of hatred, gritting her teeth and said. We don't know his real name, but he claimed to be the ninth destiny of the Evil King Pavilion at that time. Evil King Pavilion? Why is it this inhuman killer organization again? Gu Cheng's eyes moved slightly, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart that this world is really small. Before, he obtained a lot of confidential information about the Evil King Pavilion from the sole remnant of Feng Sancher. As a notorious killer organization in Yunzhou, the Evil King Pavilion has a large number of people under its command, and its members are spread across the 12 counties of Yunzhou. But most of them are non-staff personnel like Feng Sancher, the kind that no one will help to avenge if they die. There are less than 20 real core members, and all of them are given the title of Destiny. This murderer can be ranked 9th in the core circle of the Evil King Pavilion, so his strength is self-evident. Maybe he is another top master comparable to General Su. But Gu Cheng is not afraid at all. With his abnormal upgrade speed, it is estimated that it will not take long before the Xiantian realm will become a small fish that can be killed with one knife, and it can be seen from Feng Sancher, an extra staff member. The killers of the Evil King Pavilion are all skilled, and they are all a group of unforgivable scum. They are indeed extremely high-quality experienced babies. Gu Cheng has had conflicts with this killer organization, so he doesn't mind killing a few more. After analyzing the pros and cons, Gu Cheng drank the tea in the cup and reached out to pick up the yin-yang fish jade pendant on the table. Don't worry, I'll take this job. The Xiao siblings were delighted when they heard this, and were about to thank him, but were interrupted by him. But I have to be frank. I don't have time to deal with this matter in a short time. You have to wait patiently for a while. Gu Cheng warned softly, he already has enough side quests, and recently there is an emergency of fox demons seeking revenge, so he has no energy to do other things. No problem. We can wait. The Xiao siblings looked at each other and nodded in agreement. In their opinion, with Mr. Gu's terrifying qualifications, he will be vigorously cultivated by the Demon Suppression Division headquarters after he goes to Tianshui City. It may take less than 10 years for him to be promoted to the top powerhouse of the Xiantian realm. In 20 years, he will definitely have a place in the top of the Demon Suppression Division in Yunzhou. By then, relying on Lord Gu's strength and status, killing the 9th destiny of the Evil King Pavilion would be a piece of cake, wouldn't it? After sending the Xiao brothers and sisters away, Gu Cheng simply ate something and returned to the bedroom. He took out the yin-yang fish jade pendant, infused it with divine thoughts, and roughly browsed the contents inside. Yin-yang absolute immortal hand is the untold secret of the Xiao family. It is said to be a martial art of the innate realm, but in fact it is divided into 2 chapters. Yin and Yang. Yang hand specializes in removing diseases and removing blood stasis, healing wounds and detoxifying, pure nanny skills. When practiced to the extreme, it even has the powerful effect of resurrecting people and turning flesh into bones. Unfortunately, this move requires extremely strong true qi as a foundation. At least the qi refining cultivation level of breaking the mortal 9 or above can be practiced. Gu Cheng can only stare blankly now. Yin hand focuses on killing, specializes in attacking weaknesses, and kills with one blow. This move does not require chi training, but it does require a very high physique of the practitioner. Ordinary physical practitioners cannot practice it at all. No wonder Xiao Yun has been asking me about the digestion progress of the boiling blood powder before. It turns out that he is judging whether my physique can practice this innate martial arts by this. Gu Cheng nodded in understanding and opened the panel with concentration. At present, he has so much life left, and he has just obtained a powerful martial arts that can be practiced. Of course, there is no reason to hoard it. He immediately stopped hesitating and slowly injected his life into Yin-Yang Absolute Immortal Hand. The number behind the remaining life immediately began to decrease rapidly.